this week we watched The Conjuring, Devil Made Me Do It, which The Conjuring is my favorite horror series. I like all of the movies. We watched it on HBO Go, but it is in theaters. I wish I could have seen it in the theater, but the weekend got away from me, and I was like, okay, at least it's on HBO Go, and I can still watch it before this.
Yeah, no, I wanted to go see it in the theater and I tried to get my friend Jamie to go with me, but her husband was out of town for the weekend and she was like, no, I ain't about to go watch a horror movie and then have to go home by myself.
You go, come
I
here,
just
come
watched
cuddle in
it.
bed with me.
Yeah. I think I've seen maybe two of the Conjuring films. Like, I'm not typical. Like, I like horror films, but I don't watch them that often because I don't get scared. Like I always know, oh, it's fake. So like I don't ever have
Yeah.
nightmares after them. Like it doesn't do that. Like I may get startled, but it's like, oh, it's fake, so it's not that scary. Um, so I don't watch like whole series of horror films and things like that because it's I don't know. Like I like them, I'm just not. I'm more of a comedy person, but I was the one who suggested this, I believe, wasn't I? Because I was
Yeah.
wanting to go see it in the theater. Like I prefer to see horror movies in the theater because that startle is so much better.
Oh yeah, it's so much better in the theater.
Yeah, so I suggested this one and I liked it. Um, I actually like the whole time I was watching it, I was looking these people up because I was like, I didn't realize it
Oh
was
yeah.
based off true stories,
Mhm.
So then I'm like looking them up and like, oh my god, this is like that's
The
crazy.
the best part about them for me is like the Annabelle doll because like you want to think it's just this like creepy Victorian porcelain doll. It's a fucking Raggedy Ann. Like it's not like, and it's possessed. It's super possessed, super terrifying. It has to be
Yeah.
like locked in a cage with like a sign that says "Do not touch it." But it's just a Raggedy Ann doll. It's not even like a creepy doll.
Yeah. While I was watching it, I told Anthony, I was like, why is it all these? Because, they have the priest come in, and I was like, why is it always Catholic people that are getting possessed? Like, I don't ever hear, like, my dad's a minister. Like, I don't ever know of him having to go, like, exorcise anyone, because they've been possessed. I'm like, why do they only target the Christian or the Catholics? And I was like, you know what I think it is? The Catholics are the only ones who are correct, and so the devil is coming after them because he's already got everybody else. Like
That's
everyone
true.
else, so he don't need to possess them. They're already going to hell. So he's
Yeah.
going to possess the Catholics. I was like, so maybe this is the proof that Catholicism's the only way.
That's a
Argument?
solid theory.
Yeah, that was a theory I came up with when I was watching it.
Yeah. I like this movie. I think of the series, I think there's only one or two that I haven't seen and I should watch them. I just like didn't. Um, but I'm like you, like I don't really get scared by them. I like the suspense. I don't like a lot of blood and gore. So this one like really worked for me for that. Cause like, yeah, like I don't like the gory horror movies. Like I don't like the Saw series because it's all just like I'm gonna make you saw your own ankle off. I'm like, I don't want to see that. But like this one, like even when there is like, that type of stuff, it's not overpowering and it like really flows with the story. And it's just like it's a story. So it was a little bit predictable. Like I found myself like the whole time being like, okay, well, this is gonna happen, and like something like very similar would happen or that exact thing. So it is kind of predictable, but I mean, I'm fine with that. That doesn't bother me.
That woman, what's her name? Is it Vera Farminga or Farmiga?
Yeah, Vera Famiglia or something, I think
Something
maybe.
like that. She's a great actress. Like I've liked
Yeah.
her in a lot of stuff that I've heard. The few things I've seen her in, I've really liked her. One thing that really got me on this, and all the Exorcist top movies do, is when they like break their backs and they're.
Oh my God, I hate
I
that.
fucking hate that. I'm like, ugh, just the noise. Like I can even block it and not watch, but hearing that,
Exactly. Yeah, because you still hear the noise and you're like, I know they're contorting. Like I
yeah,
was like the whole
I
time,
hate
like,
that. I hate that so much. Like I could not watch those parts. And I
and there
was
was so much of it.
I know there was
Like
so much of that. It's
it
like,
went on for
why?
so
Why do you have
long.
to do that?
Yeah. That's why I it's like they do it just because they're like, if I contort my back like this, these people will be so freaked out they'll let me go.
Yeah.
And like, and also that kid, like How dare you? The first rule of exorcisms, you don't invite a demon into your body. Like, what's wrong with you?
I
Like
don't
this
know.
whole
He was just, but how long did he end up in prison for? Because he's out of prison now. Like
yeah,
he
I thought
wasn't
it was
like
only
fresh.
5 years.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a pretty short sentence.
Yeah, being able to, and so the reason that they named it "The Devil Made Me Do It" was that was his argument in court for killing his landlord or whatever,
Yeah,
like in real life. Like this
yeah.
guy, was like, I was possessed by the devil. That's why I killed him. I didn't. I personally would never do that. And it was like the first case I think in American history that someone used that as a um, reason.
And yeah, it was the first case in American history. And then in the movie too, the lawyer was like, listen, you keep citing all these cases for overseas, but they also lost those cases. Like, it's
Yeah,
not a good defense. It's a hard one to prove too. Like, you can sit there, you're like, I was possessed by the devil, and you're like, what? No, get out. Which is
yeah.
so funny because we do put so much like stuff into religion where like religion is 100% real, 100, nobody can question it. And then they're like, no, the devil didn't make you do anything. They're like,
Like, well, either you believe in religion or you don't. It's like,
yeah,
which is it?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and like the dude, the old retired priest of like following the cult, the second you saw him, you're like, no, this dude's bad news. Like there's
Yeah.
no like he's got creep vibes. When Lorraine Warren went down there and she's like, I don't know, he seems weird. And then they went down there and they were all fine. I was like, I still don't trust it. Like, I still think he's going to
When
like
she
murder them.
went to his house and went underneath the house, and so I'm like, who? She has got some balls of steel. Like there
She
is.
went by herself.
I know. There's no way in hell I would be going to there. I'd be like, oh, too bad. I guess people are gonna die because I ain't going down there.
Like, I get it. Her husband was like sick and dying and whatever, but like, Jesus, take the cameraman. Like, take
Yeah.
literally anybody else. Like, I feel like she intentionally, in all of these movies, she just like intentionally puts herself in these like super dangerous positions. And she's like, it's just, it needs to be done. And you're like, but not like that. There's got to be another way. Like, you can wait for the police and the police too. Like, I'm sorry. He made it all the way from like his home before the local police made it to
Right.
like, yeah. Um, I really did like the movie though. I
I
thought
did.
it was really good. I mean, it makes me want to watch the whole series over again and then like maybe get into the occult. I don't know. Like to have that much power to like possess people. And I'm always so fascinated too with the possessed items and things like that. And they're like, why are they targeting an 8-year-old child? Because like they specifically targeted, these people. And I'm like, yeah, why would you target an 8-year-old child? Like, is he just like that awful? They just moved in.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess because children have you assume that they're innocent and so maybe they're like, it's easier to get away with
Or
something.
or they think if we possess the child and he's like a nightmare and he's like doing all these shit things, they'll just be like, well, I just have a shit kid, and they won't
Yeah.
anticipate that it's that it's a demon possessing this
Yeah.
child. Be like, listen, I just have a nightmare of a child. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of kids like that. They're probably really just possessed. And I'm over here
Yeah.
hating on little kids, and it's not even their fault.
Yeah, they're just possessed and their parents don't know it because we're all like, possession's not real.
Yeah.
Nobody gets possessed anymore. It's a dying art though. I did hear like, well,
What's the devil down there doing? Like, why aren't you doing your damn job? Like, come on.
like I mean, like the dying art of like the priests who can do exorcisms because you have to like be it's very specific and technical and it's not as widely taught anymore. So like if you get possessed in this day and age, honestly, you're just possessed. Like is nobody is coming to help you. Because you have to like do the exorcism in Latin, you have to like do it a very specific way. Like it's so technical that like somebody will fuck it up and then you'll have two demons. You just
Yeah.
conjured
And
up
it makes
another
me
one.
kind of wonder if in the past, when people were possessed, it wasn't they were possessed, maybe they were just having seizures or something, and
That's true.
they didn't know much about medical, because there's different types of seizures, so it may have been
Yeah.
a very violent seizure, And back then they just assumed, oh, this is a possessed person. We got to call the church.
I
Get
was
the
gonna say, in the old days, like it's so wild with some of that stuff too, because they're like, oh, he's been asleep for a while, must be dead, bury him up, and then like that's why they have those bells on
Actually, like
coffins
Jeremy
for
would
people
have
to
been
wake up.
duped because
Huh?
he goes days without sleeping and then he
Yeah,
crashes for 3 days straight. Like they would have buried him a long time ago.
yeah,
Like, oh,
buried
he's
alive,
dead. Just
100%.
bury him. Let's get this over
Well, and
with.
then the diabetic comas. They had that story where like they just had a ward of children that were just in diabetic comas, and they're technically still alive, but like they're not. And then insulin's invented. They pump them in insulin. An hour later, they all just pop up like nothing happened. You're just like witchcraft. So that, and then I found another weird one. The Loch Ness monster, whale penis. So somebody posted a picture and they were like, if you've never seen a whale penis, this is what it looks like when like whales get erections. They like breach and they put their dick all up in the air. And so somebody was like, here's a picture of a whale penis. Here's the picture of the Loch Ness monster. And you're like, tell me that doesn't look like a whale penis. And I was like, huh.
Yeah.
It's like that's the thing. It could have been seizures
So it
and
is a
people.
monster, technically. It's just a monster penis.
Yeah, so like I would fully believe that early possessions were just people having seizures, and that's just how it is.
Yeah. Anyways, it was a good movie. Liked it. If you like horror movies, I think you'd love it, especially if you like the possession type ones. Um,
Yeah, very well done. The actors are always spot on.
yeah.
Like there's no way that
There
you
were
like,
many startling moments that
yeah,
were cringy, and then there were parts where I had to close my eyes and couldn't watch. And
that really is the worst part. Those like yeah, those that back thing, I can't handle it. And they do it a couple different times. And um just the possessions in general are so interesting. You're just like,
yeah,
how?
like I don't know what I believe. I'm very agnostic leaning, or I'm an atheist leaning agnostic. Just like I don't really believe in much of anything. Like I'm boring. Uh, but like with possessions, it's like I don't believe in the devil. Like I don't believe that the devil exists. Um, but I do believe that there's good and evil in everything. So it's like I wonder what this is. And I don't know like what I believe as far as spirits and ghosts and things like that go because I don't know what senses we may be missing. So there could be things that we just can't sense, because we don't have the right senses for that. So I don't know if, like we have a spirit and it takes another form after we die and we just can't sense it, most of us, because we just can't, but it's there. So I don't know. I don't know what I believe, but I do like the horror movies that have to deal with possessions and things like that because there is the question of could this be real? And that's what I like. Those are the only type of horror movies I really like is the ones where it's like this could be real. I wonder if
Yeah.
this could ever really happen, that type of thing. So,
I mean, technically most of those horror movies probably
well,
could.
yeah, but
There was one horror movie. It's called It Follows, and that one, it's basically just an STD. Like it just follows you around until you have sex with somebody else, and then it follows them around. And
yeah,
like that's the thing is like you're just trying to like not be killed. Like you have to have sex before this thing catches you, and you're just like, so it's basically just a walking STD. Um, but yeah, like I do believe in ghosts. I think that they're real. Um, and I don't know, I'm more inclined to believe like the possession and like the evil spirits and things like that than I am like the positive good in the world. Like they have all those movies that are like, I'm trying to think of the one it was like, there's been a couple of them where it's like, God created this miracle and like they did this and this child was never supposed to, walk in and they did. And it was specifically because of God. And I'm less inclined to believe that, but possession, I'm like 100% totally could happen. Not even a question. Like, definitely could be possessed, and
yeah.
it
I
doesn't
think I
even.
believe in ghosts and spirits. I mean, I've had a few things happen that were very questionable and can't be explained. So it's like I
Well,
feel
you've
like
got that intuition sense
yeah, and I've
too. So
had
like
that.
there's definitely something like
Yeah. Yeah, and even in the house we're in right now, like Lillian and Sagan have both said that they see a kid. And then Lily has seen some older guy apparently a few different times. And I'm like, I'm not seeing him. Like, but I have had instances where I get a whiff of someone's perfume
mhm,
and I'm like, this isn't a perfume, but it's like it smells familiar.
yeah.
So I'm like, is this someone visiting me? Like, what is going on here? I'm like, with the butterfly, what is this? Like, I
Oh
don't.
yeah. Yeah, I had one when I was little, there was like footsteps. Like we heard like high-heeled footsteps and like my mother wasn't home and they were coming from like the attic and we're just like, what is happening here? And like it was just a few minutes of just like high-heeled footsteps coming around and then nothing. And then she came home and we're like, hey, you weren't here, right? And there she's like, no. And I'm like, there was definitely high heel footsteps. And like, we were all right here. And like, it's in the attic. It's not like somebody could like snuck in.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, kids typically see it because they're just like more open. And then as we get older, we're just like more jaded and
Well,
stuff.
Lily said like the child and that guy, that she doesn't feel threatened or anything.
Yeah,
She'll see them out of the corner of her eye, and then she'll look and they'll go away. And that she doesn't feel threatened or anything.
that's good.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, like good. We
An
got
old
some kid in the
man
house, gotta
standing there,
move.
but I don't care. It's fun.
Well, that's good. Well, that's what they say. They're like you have those spirits and like to get a spirit out of your house is like very difficult. Like you really just have to like move and hope that the spirit isn't like attached to one of your belongings like they are in the Conjuring. Like they had to find her full altar in order to
Yeah.
break this curse. And you're just like in the whole world, they have to find this one
And
woman's
I like
altar.
how when the altar gets destroyed, then the devil's like, well, you promised me a spirit, so it's yours, oh bitch.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're coming
She
with
wasn't
me.
even that old. She was
Yeah,
like in
no,
her
she looked
30s.
it though because she was so
I
pretty
know.
looking, but
Because
yeah.
when you're possessed, you age quicker, which is weird. I feel like if you're possessed, you should age slower. Like them's
Mhm.
the rules.
Yeah, you should get some benefits from that shit.
But I think it's because like the evil
That way people
spirits are
would want
so
it.
powerful.
You know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't even have trouble possessing people if they like brought beauty and all that crap with them.
That's true. Honestly,
Yeah, go ahead. You can
I
have
do
it.
it just to see. Like they have all those posts that somebody's like, they're like, listen, I couldn't be doing the devil can't be doing a worse job than I'm already doing. Like, demon take the wheel. Like, let's
Yeah,
see if you can fix this mess of a life.
right. You can
Like,
make it better for me.
yeah.
Even if there's a few sacrifices along the way, I mean, I'm willing to take that chance. Like, it's
I
fun.
mean, they're typically not like sacrifices of people you know, and maybe it'll be people you don't like. So, like,
Maybe they'll let you sacrifice bad people, like child
yeah,
molesters or something. Like, and then they get to go ahead and take them to hell, so they should be happy. That's the people they
yeah,
want. I
yeah.
would assume. Child molesters, murderers, um, those horrible people, and then the gays naturally, because we're all going to hell with all those bad
Honestly,
people. Because
it's so funny because like you hear, well, the religion, they're like everything is a sin, and you're like, okay, but like, is there a like, where's the
yeah,
line?
like
Like, how
where's
many bad things can I commit?
yeah, like does this one count as 50 strikes and this one only counts as two, and I'm allowed 1,000? Like, can you
Yeah,
give me like a tier here so I know?
yeah, because
Because
you're
I
like,
would
listen,
imagine, first off, I mean, I don't feel there's anything wrong with being gay whatsoever.
no,
Obviously, I wouldn't have been in gay relationships. But, um, like, if it is on the scale of bad just because it's not mainstream normal, I would imagine that, like, one check where molesting a child is like 500 checks. Like,
yeah.
let's tell me where the line is here. Like, I need to know so I know how many times I can be a sinner and
Yeah, and is it just if it's the same thing, like, and if I commit the same crime over and over again, is it just still just one, or does it count as more? Like,
or does
it
it
just
double every time? Like, I need to know.
yeah, because you're never going to just be like
We need a list. Like,
completely.
instead of the 10 commandments, give us a list of the sins and what they
Although,
count for.
which is one? Is it Catholicism that does the confession?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why, because like, see, we just have to live with our sins. The Catholics get absolved. So
Yeah.
like,
We need to just be Catholics then. That way we can just go sin and just be like, okay, how many Hail Marys do I need to do?
yeah, that was always the weirdest thing because you just go every week and you're like, hey, so I did this again. They're like, more Hail Marys, I guess. And you're like,
Yeah.
cool, see you
Okay.
next week.
Is that what it's
um,
like to really be religious? You just go ask for, forgiveness and it's all done and erased.
what's what they say?
See, I
They're
feel
like,
that it's
don't,
harder to not be religious because you can't just ask for forgiveness and think, okay, I'm good.
yeah.
Like
What's
ask
what
for
they say? They're like, it's better to ask for forgiveness than for permission.
yeah,
So just do all your sinning and then just go be like, whoops a do. Like, can I be a good person again? And they're like, yes, you can. Go on. Be
yeah.
free with the Lord. And you're like, good. And you
I just
immediately go
can't.
and sin.
Like that's not my like. I just can't deal with that mindset. Like it's just not made for me. Like I'm more of the type of person that's like, if I'm not hurting anyone, I don't feel that it's a sin.
No.
If there's no victim in this, there's no sin here. And then if I do have a like if I've hurt someone or I'm gonna feel like shit forever over that. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna just ask them for forgiveness and think that it's done and over with.
No. And
It's
that's the
more
thing
to
with
it than that.
forgiveness too, is I never trust that like I'm actually forgiven. Like you're like, oh, you're forgiven. You're like,
But am I?
yeah, you're like, I don't know, this feels pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, good movie.
Yeah, good movie, worth a watch, whole series, fantastic. I hope they keep making them. Because it is based off of true stories. And they actually, you can visit their museum. So Lindsay, if you ever want to go, they have like in their
I
home
looked
all of
it
this
up,
shit.
and I think
Like,
it's closed now.
oh, is it? That's so upsetting.
So, because I would like to go to that. It's in Connecticut. And I was like, man, I've been to Connecticut. I could have
Oh
went
yeah, that's
to that
true.
whenever I went for work. Like, I don't even know. I could have went and got my own demon or something. Like shit.
You would have opened the Annabelle case.
I absolutely would have. I'd been like, hello, little doll.
And that's why they
Demon would
closed
have
it.
ran and been like, oh shit, she's here. Let's get out of here.
That's what one thing I really like is like all of these people that have all these possessed items, they have just a simple lock on their door, and that
Right.
just
Like, you really
like
think that's gonna work to hold a demon back? Like, it can break people's backs and twist them all up.
yeah, like that dude was like
Destroy
in
towns.
every
Like,
witch's
come on.
occult item, and he goes, one key lock over a latch, and we're safe.
Like, that's an earthly item. That isn't gonna hold them back. Are you
No,
dumbass? What the hell?
maybe it's just for us. Like it just makes us feel better, but like they like the
Maybe you
Warrens
have to
know.
believe that you can be possessed by it for it to take over. And so if that lock's on there, it gives you this sense of security. And so you don't think it can, and
Yeah,
therefore it can't.
that's what I'm wondering. Yeah, something like that. Because that's what it said, that the demons need to be invited into your body. So if you're just like, no, thank you, I don't want to be possessed today, then you're all good. Just don't allow
I did
demons
the
into your
Bloody
body.
Mary in the mirror thing once with Lily.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "Lily, it's not real." I was like, "Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody." And she's like, "Stop!"
I remember that as a kid. Yeah. You don't invite demons into your body. Don't invite vampires into your home. Like, just don't invite anybody into anything ever. Problem solved.
I like vampires though.
I know.
I'd like to be a vampire. See, that's a good one because you stay young and beautiful and like, okay, I'm fine with that. What's
Yeah.
the negative here?
There is no negative.
There's really no negative to being a vampire.
I mean, aside from the fact you can't go out during the day, but like honestly, the
I
day
don't
is
like the day
awful.
anyways. I hate the sun.
Yeah. There's
I
no
was meant to be
I'm
a
done.
vampire. Look at this skin. I'm
I
meant.
know you're made for being
I
a
don't even have to
vampire.
change. All I gotta do is get longer teeth, and I'm done. That's it.
And I think they retract too. So like it's not always longer teeth.
Yeah, so I'm
So if there's
close.
any
I
vampires,
actually had some. I used to have a fang smith. That's a person who
yeah.
specializes in making, and they make them like they do like normal, like you would go to the dentist to get
Yeah.
made.
Yeah, because like the people
And
that
they
like it,
just
like we're not
capped
talking.
over. It's just two, and they just capped right over. Like he made a big mold of my mouth so that when I shut my teeth, it would line up correctly. I mean, they were really nice. I don't know what happened to them. They were some really cool fangs though, and they were just like little fang back in my golf days.
Yeah. God.
They were these little fangs, and they were so nice, and they would just pop right on, and they were the kind like I could eat with them and everything. Like
Ooh, that is nice.
they were really nice. They were
Yeah.
cool.
Well, if there's any vampires watching and want to like turn us, we're totally cool with it.
We're fine with it. Like I
Yeah.
like staying youthful, so
And honestly, this is a good age for me. Like, it's not like I'd be one of those creepy vampires that's like, the 16-year-old, like
right.
never. I'm like, no, I'm 30. I'm good. Like, this is exactly where I would want to like
Yeah.
stay.
Yep. So any vampires, hit us up. We'll be happy to donate our blood in exchange for eternal life. We're fine
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah. Totally fine with it. Demon,
Demon,
same
it's a
thing.
little questionable. It depends on what hell you're bringing with you. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not saying no.
I
We're
just
just
want to
saying we
know
need
the
to know the
specifics.
list of, yeah, the specifics of it. So,
Yeah.
angels,
And
not really interested. Your life's too boring.
yeah, honestly, I have no
I like
interest
to
in
be a
like,
sinner, so that's just not
yeah,
interested
the
in that.
straight and narrow path sounds
No,
so
not for
boring.
me. And I don't want to be an asshole to other people, so
Yeah.
I wanna be an angel.
Yeah.
At least not
Demons
that
have
kind of asshole. Like
demons
I'm
and
an asshole,
vampires are fun.
but not that kind. Yeah, I don't want to be the kind of hypocritical asshole that's I'm better than you.
My favorite demon is the jinn. Like they like possess you and they like give you your perfect life, but they're also like sucking the life out of you. And I just think that would be my favorite one.
Yeah, because I mean, then while the life's being sucked out of you, you have like the best life you could ever have. So
Yeah.
it's like, my life may be shortened, but it's a great life. So
Yeah.
a good trade.
Yep. All right. Yeah. Conjuring, definitely watch it. Let us know if you've seen it, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, other movies coming out, other movies that we would like based on this one. So if you
Yeah,
have any weird, obscure possession movies, totally here for it.
yeah. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Ew.
I do look pale. Maybe that's why. Maybe it's really not the Ehlers-Danlos. I'm just like don't have tons of wrinkles, and I'm pale because really I'm a vampire, and that's why I'm having health problems because I don't drink blood. If I would start drinking
Ooh.
blood, then I wouldn't be having all these health problems. That's probably what it is. I'm really a
Something
vampire. I just haven't realized it.
something to try. And like the whole time, even when like at first they were like, the Elizabeth Warren, she's like, oh, I don't want to go down there. And he's like, hey, it's fine, come down here. And like she went down there and you're like, you're definitely a murder in this basement. And then they didn't. And you were
I
like,
think it's Elizabeth
okay.
Warren.
Huh?
Isn't it like Tammy or something Warren?
That's
Elizabeth Warren
Elizabeth.
is the politician.
Oh, you're right. Hang on, we're gonna have to cut this.
No, I'm leaving it.
No.
Or you say Elizabeth Warren, that way the conspiracy theorists be like, Elizabeth Warren's
She
people.
is. I mean, I believe it. Elizabeth Warren could be. Maybe it's the same person. We don't know.
She'd be well, she's pretty old.
Let's see. Why are things so
So
hard to look
pale.
up? My fingers don't work today.
I think it's Tammy. Just Miss Warren.
Lorraine. Not
Lorraine.
even
I
close.
was close.
I feel like Elizabeth's closer to Lorraine.
Maybe.
Okay. So